So I don't know if I'd call it a fail, but early on in my copywriting days, I had a sales call with this guy and I was pitching him on some basic copywriting services. And I pitched him the thing and like talk about price and we're going into it. And he's like, wait, hold on. I think my kid just fell down the stairs. I'll call you back. And then like just closes the laptop. And I was like sat there for 20 minutes. Oh man, I hope the kid's okay. Never heard back from him again. I followed up a few times, didn't hear shit. So that was probably the funniest I don't know, I guess objection I've ever had. I've never like failed on a podcast or sales call. I mean,
Okay.
dude, it took a lot to get to this one today. Like this was crazy.
I mean, yeah, like a few minutes in, a lot of friction, but yeah, there's like an end of the week, like no pressure thing for me. So I'm glad that you didn't just like say, fuck it. This is like one bad sign after the next. So we're just not doing it.
Really? Who would say that, dude? That's like that just
Uh,
makes it interesting.
yeah, exactly. To me, it's more like, all right, it adds to the story. But yeah, it's cool that it's working because it would have probably got on my nerves if it didn't work on Zoom, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. But I've been like, all right, dude, let's reschedule for another time. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me a bit more about your background, as in like actually where you're at. I think you're in Vancouver.
I'm in Vancouver, Canada, born and raised here. So that was the downtown area. And you can see the water here. It's called Falls Creek. There's like a little science center called Science World back there too. And BC Place in Rogers Arena where we have lots of hockey, soccer games, concerts, etc. So
Sick.
I get to hear for free.
What's that? You get to
I
what?
get to hear them. I get to hear concerts for free from my apartment.
That's so
I pay for
sick.
it. Yeah, it's right next door.
I know there's a few things you're doing that we're gonna get into, but out of all those things you mentioned, like concerts, that free music and hockey games and all that, what do you enjoy doing the most in Vancouver? Actually, I've never been. I grew up in Canada, but more like closer to Ottawa,
Really?
Montreal, Toronto. So
So in 2010, 2011, I was pretty big Canucks fan. And then because they're doing well that season, and then suck shit. And then all of a sudden this year we're on a roll. So back on the bandwagon.
sick. Yeah, I think I saw a picture. You had a game like a few weeks ago.
Man, stalking me. I love
Oh,
this.
Facebook, man. I gotta do a little bit of research.
Apparently.
Yeah, nice. Did you grow up playing hockey at all?
No, funny enough, I grew up as a dancer, not doing any kind of sports. It was always hip hop, tap dance, did some ballet, some jazz, some contemporary. And then when I was 15, I got into break dance and I've just been doing that ever since. It's the best, dude.
What's
Like,
the
oh,
how does that like how do you go from that world to getting interested in copywriting?
great question. So do you want the short story, long story, medium? I got different versions.
I want the story that leads us somewhere interesting. So wherever you
Okay.
think you want to go.
Okay. So you want long? Okay, got it. So like any good story, it starts with a girl. I was 11 years old and I looked up how to get girls to like me on Google. And then that sent me headfirst into the world of direct response dating niche, where back in 2011, all the best copywriters were selling dating programs. And so I would read every read every newsletter, watch every video sales letter. I would like take notes on the family iPad on like girls and stuff. And then I would run to the local gas station and buy prepaid credit cards with my allowance money. And then I would buy these programs. And I became such a sophisticated consumer that I would know that there were upsells and downsells coming after the main program. And I always made sure to buy enough credit cards so I could afford them.
That's in 2011.
Yeah. And so I went through enough dating programs where I'm like, you know what? I could teach this. And so I was like 13 or 14 years old. I made a YouTube channel and I called myself Canada's Confidence Consultant for Men. And I teach guys how to get like phone numbers and stuff, making like YouTube videos. I was very not popular, but well known in my high school, put it that way. And from there, I got recruited to join a pyramid scheme selling ionized water. And I learned how to write and run my own Facebook ads. That's copywriting. And in Vancouver, I met one of my old mentors and he's like, Ed, why are you trying to do your own thing? Why don't you get paid to write for others? And I was like, that's fucking brilliant. And that's how I got into copywriting. I was about 16 years old and I've been doing it ever since.
So you haven't stopped, like you just started with copy and that's what you stuck with.
That was it the whole time.
Did you go through the whole like school and job part, or you just went straight
Yeah.
to copy? Okay.
By the time I was 16 and a half, almost 17, I was making as much money as my dad was.
That's awesome, man. When was this? How old are you now?
23 now.
Okay. Damn. You're fresh in the game, but you've done a lot. That's cool. What's
I don't know about fresh in the game, dude. I think I've been doing this for like 8 years now.
yeah, I guess you're not fresh in the game, but you still have a long road.
I'm fresh in life. What's that? I'm fresh
Fresh
in
in
life.
life, exactly. You
That's for
started
sure.
young. Yeah. That makes me low key a little bit jealous that I didn't just go straight into it and I did the whole like traditional thing first. But I guess,
Yeah.
we all have a different path, and it's good that you knew straight away though. And it seems like you're getting the results to back up. I want to get into more of the recruitment stuff because that's what you've been pushing for a while. But
Mm.
before I get to that, I want to get a bit more context, not just for myself, but any of the few people that end up watching or listening. So just tell me, like, continue that journey of what you've done in your copywriting before deciding to switching more to a recruitment model.
Great question. I had worked with literally dozens of 7-figure business owners. I made them $23 million in sales doing done for you copywriting. And
Tell me about that. What, like, a bit more into the done for you copy, and
sure.
then name drop a few people if you can.
Sure. So dude, I mean, basically, if you've purchased a high ticket program, like you've bought from one of my clients before or from my work.
I like that.
So like one of my clients, actually my last done for you client was Russ Rafid, Cole Gordon, Traffic and Funnels, like, Taylor Welch and Chris Evans, Cole Gordon, names are escaping me right now, but
So a lot of guys in the info space
it's
consulting.
all high ticket coaching consulting.
Okay. No, you didn't get into e-com at all?
No.
Okay.
I tried early in my career and it just was, the client sucked. Like the money sucked. There's nothing positive that comes from writing copy for ecom companies unless they're like 8 or 9 figures.
Okay. So you'd have to go straight for high ticket.
Yeah. And this is what I teach my copywriters that I train in my program is like, you only want to write for high ticket. So you asked about like what kind of copy I'd write for my clients, emails, social media posts, like Facebook posts, usually Facebook ads, webinars, VSL, sales pages. I'm pretty Swiss Army knife across the board. But the reason why like I really stuck onto the high ticket information and coaching niche was because, dude, the margins are so good.
Mhm.
Like if you're a copywriter, and I teach my students to get paid $3K a month retainers, right? Well, if you go to an e-com company, how many fucking units do you have to sell?
A lot. Come from
Justify
a
3
e-com
grand,
background, I know.
like just to justify like a daily email, let's say daily email and maybe some social media posts, right? Like you have to do a lot of work. Like you have to sell like thousands of units, or at least like a couple thousand, not only for like, because everyone looks at like the price that they sell it at, but they forget about cost of goods, tax, merchant account fees, like refunds, chargebacks. End of the day with ecom, you're operating at 10, 15, 20% margins.
Maybe 10 to 20 is like good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's like,
Yeah.
but in coaching, if you're smart about the way you run your business, it could be like 50, 60, 70, 80%, obviously depending on scale. And if you're like way scaled up, it's like 30, right? But still.
So if we go back to,
different.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. If we go back to when you were just doing copywriting, you didn't have a core, you didn't have like a coaching program or a recruitment agency or anything. You're just doing the copywriting. What were the niches that you were most like excited about writing in yourself?
It's actually funny because I always loved writing for personal brands because I love writing in people's voices. I love learning how they think. I love seeing their personal values and their unique perspectives on things. I've noticed about myself is one thing is I'm a voracious learner. If I'm not learning, I'm fucking pissed. Like I want to learn new things every single day. I could write copy for, I don't know, Christian Louboutin, and it would be fun to, appeal to rich people and like write rich people copy because it's funny and that would, be okay. But like, I want to learn something.
Right.
Like, and so in that case, maybe I would learn like how the wallets are made, learn about the leather, learn about like that to me is fascinating. But if I'm selling a fucking chair, okay, like how much, really how much detail goes into that? How much cool stuff is behind the scenes of that? How much history is there? Like,
unless it's like handcrafted from like wood and,
and like
in the
Italy
forest
or
deep
wherever.
in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, the niches that interested me both back then was still personal brands because I didn't get to just learn about the thing that they're teaching and become a master at that by learning like how their stuff works. I also got to see their unique lens and perspective of life. And so I got to borrow all these people's different lenses. And like, I'm a big believer that like the main goal in life is to collect a series of lenses through which you see the world. And I see each lens as like another circle on the Venn diagram until you like just getting you like more and more precise towards the ultimate truth. And so like
Which is what's that ultimate truth?
That's
Do you
completely subjective
feel,
based on.
yeah. Do you feel like that ultimate truth really depends on all your experiences? Like you're doing breakdancing, copywriting, traveling, whatever it is. So it's just a bunch of truths connected together and it's never ending.
Completely. And I forget who said it. I think it was either Bruce Lee or like Miyamoto Musashi, who's like he won, I think over like 60 one-on-one like
yeah,
duel.
it's from five.
Yeah.
He wrote Five Rings. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got somewhere around here, but it's basically like what applies to one applies to all, which is like, if I learn a new thing in copywriting, I can take that same concept, apply it to DJing or music or art or, breakdancing or I don't know, constructing counters or making or cooking. You know what I mean? Like
it's skill stacking, experience stacking, memory stacking. Yeah. How did you, because in copywriting, marketing, there's a lot of bro culture and like, let's just make the most amount, get the biggest ROAS and all that. And it seems like the way that you're approaching things currently, based on what I've gone through in your profile and the social stuff that you put out, that you're really approaching all this with like, I want to have a balanced life, yet still crush it in business. So tell me if I'm completely wrong or right. And if so, like just explain a little bit.
No, totally bang on, dude. Because so the reason why I started so early in this industry is because I wanted to prove people wrong and make a lot of money. I realized that is not a recipe for internal happiness. But thankfully, I learned it from a very, very young age, versus most people figure that out when they're 40 and 50. Of course, kids hate them. Wife just want to talk to them. That sucks. I got to learn when I was, 19, 20, 21. So super grateful for that. Also, because I've worked behind the scenes of all these gurus and these massive companies, I see what their real life is like behind the smoke and mirrors and what you see on social media. And it is not worth it.
How is it? Tell me about it.
So a lot of them, like, they're touting how much money they make and they're only looking at the numbers. But then, usually those people are actually really broke. Like they make let's say 100K a month.
Yeah.
But you probably know as well as I do, after team, taxes, ad spend, legal, accounting, chargebacks, refunds, lifestyle. Actually before lifestyle, they make 100K a month, but they're paying themselves 10 to 15 a month.
Yeah.
It's like at that rate, go be a freelancer and make the same amount of money
with way less stress.
100th of the headaches. 3 clients at 5K a month, you're fucking chilling at 15 G's a month. No overhead.
Oh, 15 G's, yeah. Unless you get sucked into the lifestyles that these guys, women, men are pushing, yep. Then 15 grand in like most places in the world, you're fine. You're more than fine. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I realized to become as successful as I am, and I wouldn't change it for the world, I sacrificed a lot in terms of my own happiness, mental health, and friendships. Like I made myself miserable so that I could achieve and go do the things I wanted to do, to develop the skills. Like, dude, I was working 100 to 120 hours a week for like 5 years straight.
Straight copywriting the whole time.
Straight copywriting. And if I wasn't copywriting, I was learning about it, thinking about it, buying courses, practicing, studying.
You being 23 and having not been really distracted, like one of the main things that guys that have gotten a lot of success have in common is focus. And It's clear that you have it, but there's always pros and cons. There's always give and take. Do you feel like you still being at a young age and having a lot of time to enjoy, like knock on wood, like life and your professional life or personal life, do you feel like having gone through that 5 years of crazy grind and 100-hour weeks, do you feel like it was worth it overall, even though you went through hardships?
I wouldn't change a fucking thing.
Not a single thing.
I'm not even close. I would not have nearly the amount of skill that I would have now. Dude, like whatever I want to build or sell or create, I have the skills and the experience to do it. Whatever I want to do, I have the network. I can just reach out to like a bunch of anybody really. For anybody in our industry, they've probably heard of me at some point or another, or like have seen some of my work. And if they haven't heard of me, I go, yeah, this guy, those are my clients. Okay, let's talk. So like, I'm not like, I wouldn't have that. And I hope this doesn't come across as a flex, because it like worked hard for it.
Right.
But like, I wouldn't have that if I didn't put in the effort and the, sacrifice up front. And now I have the ability and the chance to make my life really good. Like I'm working harder than I ever have. So I worked really hard for 5 years. I fucked off for 2 or 3 years while still working hard. And now like I'm working harder, but not close to the 100-hour weeks. It's close to like 40, 60 right now.
So it's just the pendulum and you're balancing it out.
Yeah, because dude, it was 100 hours a week, and then it went down to like 5 to 10 hours a week for like
How
two,
was
3 years.
what about this? So you went crazy and then you fucked
Went the
off for a
opposite,
little bit.
and now I'm like in between of
Where
like
you at currently?
balance.
What, like 15, 20, 25?
Right now, I mean, it depends on the day. Like some days I'll crank out like 8, 10 hour days. Other times it's like today, like I have this, like I went to go to the physiotherapist, hung out with my
Mhm.
best friend, have this call with you, have another call with my friend after that. And then tonight
That's
I'm just gonna hang
it.
out. Like that's my day. Like, but I love that I can choose to front load 2 days of the week if I want to, just work on that, and the rest of the day, rest of the week I fuck off. Aside from maybe a call or two here or there.
And your bench, like your team, what does it look like at the moment?
So I have my best friend writing copy for me and kind of be my CMO. And then I have a community manager. That's it.
It sounds amazing.
It is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, just two people. That's all I need. Like
Do you
might grab the third at some point, but I don't want to like again, like I've seen behind the scenes of all these guys and girls with these massive team, massive company. And like, even if you're making $1 million a month, if your overhead is 400 grand a month, you're fucking sweaty bullets, dude.
for sure?
If you 400 grand a month in team, that would be crazy. Like
So where do you see where do you see the recruitment business go in terms of growth, since you want to have that balance and it's clear that you don't want to just have a huge team and make a bunch of money on paper, but then be super fucking stressed.
Yeah.
Where's it going in the next year ish, like year or so?
I'm down, dude. I'm down. So the biggest thing for me is, so I was full on recruiting. Like I was placing coppers and businesses. I was doing about from 2 to 4 a month. I prefer consistent and steady versus like 10 and then 0. You know what I mean? I like to have it steady. And I noticed across the board that like copywriters just have not been taught how to write good copy. Like it was insane to me. I would review copy from some copywriters who, like, I look at their application and on paper, they're like, wow, this person knows what they're doing. They've been in the game for like anywhere from 2 to 5 years. They've spent probably 10, 15 grand minimum on coaching programs, like copywriting, getting better. And then I read their work and I'm like, is English your first language? And I'm confused. Like,
how do you know what's good? Like someone that's starting out, or they're a few years in and they just self-proclaim that they're world-class writers. How do you tell whether it's good or bad copy?
So that's a great question. So as part of the recruitment process, we have them submit it's called a custom sample, where they probably submit an email to show us what it would look like if they were to write for their client. And so we can see how good their skill is. And we also get them to submit a Loom video or screen recording, walking us through their sample and showing their marketing prowess. Here's why I did this based on the niche that you guys suggested or that you guys have. I know this, this, and this. That's why I chose this. And so people can fool you with writing a good thing, use ChatGPT or whatever, if they can make it work like that, but you can't replace marketing prowess. It's just so you can see how they articulate themselves. You can see how they present themselves. You can't fool me that way.
I think with AI, since you're mentioning ChatGPT, we can talk about that a little bit. I think at this point, people get that you definitely can't replace a good copywriter and won't be able to until, your hair's gray or you have none of it. So it's going to take a while. Yeah. But tell me, how does it play? How helpful is it? And how negative of an impact has it been for your industry, for copywriters in the last year? Because it's been hyped up for the last year, even though it's existed for a few years at least.
Me and my copywriters, we haven't seen any impact from it at all.
There's no concern, right? Like if you're at the elite level, there's no concern.
And that's the thing is, and this is what I say to people, AI won't replace bad copywriters. It will replace bad clients.
Right.
Because the bad clients want it cheap, fast, and done yesterday, and they have more time than money.
Yeah.
The clients that have more money than time, they don't care if you use AI, they just want it done.
Who do you feel it applies to? Like for copywriting, it's clear. But when it comes to, let's say, video, graphic design, do you feel like it applies to all that as well? Because it's in the creative industry.
The thing is, so I can't speak on those because I'm not versed in those. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So you only want to speak on copywriting because that's what you used to.
Yeah. Like if I was a professional video editor and designer and I knew all these things, I could for sure, but it's outside my jurisdiction.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, there's copy involved in the projects that I do, but I'm running a video agency, and I can definitely tell that it's obviously there's nuances and it's a different thing, but definitely like you'll know right away if you're only relying on AI. And the clients that just want to rely on AI and speed, they're the worst clients. You don't want to work with them anyway. So
exactly. And so what's really interesting too is AI can only write copy as good as you can write it and tell it to. So if you don't know what you're doing anyway, and the AI doesn't know what it's doing unless you tell it what to do, the copy is going to be shit. Like I have seen people who have AI tools and they write copy that blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like one or two companies out of hundreds of thousands or millions that can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh yeah, AI is going to replace copiers. I'm like, no, because you eat, breathe, live, shit, sleep, and fornicate AI and copywriting.
Mm-hmm.
Every other company does not do that. So, Agora, you use AI, that makes sense. For the business owner doing like, a small business doing like 10K, 30K, or, 500K, even $1 million a month, they're not going to spend all their time and money trying to like tweak and optimize their AI thing. Just hire a good copywriter. That's it. And just make it.
Yeah, it'll end up costing more anyway. So.
Exactly, right. So that's my take on it. It's like I've surveyed a lot of copywriters and the hype is over, or at least the fear mongering is over. Like they're like, yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm like, good, you shouldn't be. It's just a tool. It's nothing else other than a tool.
And I feel like the ones that got silenced are like either moved on to something else, and this is like I'm not about to bash or anything, but this is like they've probably moved on to being AI experts themselves, like
yes,
just completely. Hopping from one, like last year was NFTs, or the year before that crypto, now it's this, 5 years ago drop shipping. Like it's just like honestly it all works, and even being an AI expert works. It all works. It's just like, what do you want to stick to? And you're a good example of that. Like you stuck to copywriting, and 5 years ago you could literally you could search on YouTube, is copywriting dead? And you get a guru saying copywriting's dead like this with a nice looking thumbnail they ordered on Fiverr, and look at where good copywriters are at now. I feel like it's so similar for any industry. It's just like, are you willing to adjust? And then even then, no machine will replace that good emotional intelligence and deep research that goes into the art of copywriting.
Completely. And that's the thing too that people forget is people often confuse opportunity with skill. For example, like there's the opportunity, let's say, of drop shipping, and that was really an opportunity, but you need to have copywriting, media buying, product knowledge, like market research, customer support and service, shipping, exporting, importing, dealing with vendors. That's like 7 skills, but it's one opportunity. And so I think people look at an opportunity and they look for the next one and the next one and the next one, right? Which is why you said, like, from drop shipping to copywriting to high ticket closing was a fucking huge one, 2018, 2019, or 2017 as well. And then it became, funnel building, and then all media buying, and you know what I mean? But they're all opportunities, not skills. And that's why these people are jumping from thing to thing, is because like, oh, I'm going to be the next AI expert. I'm going to be the next copywriting expert. I'm going to be the next whatever. But they're not going deep in their skills. So they'll always be stuck jumping from opportunity to opportunity. If it was like, hey, just pick one skill that will always be there, will always be important, no matter what field or industry you go into, what would it be? Well, copywriting, sales, coding, product development, UI, UX, like those are all real skills. And
start with that main skill, and then you could stack as much as you want, depending on what
exactly. And the thing is, like, I listed 5, but there's plenty more. The problem is most people only look at copywriting and marketing. As I, step in from becoming a freelancer to an actual business owner, the more I look at systems and operations and take it seriously and go, oh, this is what it really means to run a business, not just, sell more courses, sell more programs, get more clients. It's like, okay, so there's systems and operations, there's legal, there's accounting, there's like, bookkeeping, there's, tax, payroll, like tax strategy, tax,
team culture, like even though
team culture, yeah, like and like there's all these skills, but it's like people just want to jump from opportunity to opportunity without ever going deep in any of these things. And I just don't know anybody who's gotten rich over a long period of time or made real money that just kept going from thing to thing.
Like directly in relation to this, a person that's just getting started and isn't like really good at copywriting, but you feel like they have the it factor. Give me a few traits that you see in that person. Like, oh, like this person is going to end up being great in like 2 years, or like share an example of someone who's actually gone through the progress, and maybe even share like a case study, literally from this guy doesn't know that much, or this girl doesn't know that much, and a few years later they're crushing it. If you have any examples, that'd be great.
Dude, I have over a dozen case studies, actually 13 now. My best friend, he didn't know a lick of copywriting 4 months ago. This month he took home 10K.
Damn.
Collected, not promised money, not, you know what I mean? And last month, I think he did like 4, 5. No, I think it was 7.
His high ticket info? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I teach.
That's all you're working with. Okay.
That's all I do. Everything else is, in my opinion, everything else is just too tough or just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Like SaaS, you can do that. But again, margins. But about your question about case studies. So I taught him copywriting. I showed him how it works. The 3 traits that were the biggest as to why he's successful is 1, he has EQ. That's the number one thing. Is a lot of copywriters think that you can like, how do I put this? It's when a copywriter with no EQ, and there's no shade, is what it is. When they learn about the emotional trigger points you can push on people, like, you know, problem, attitude, solution. I'm sure you've heard of that, right? The problem is when newer copywriters or copywriters with lower EQ, which is fine to have, just be aware of it. It's like a kid in an elevator for the first time, and what do they do? They press all the fucking buttons because they can, and you just get annoyed, like, holy shit, dude, like stop. You know what I mean? Like why'd you do that? But that's what I see copywriters do, is like they know how to push the button. Problem, attitude, solution, problem, attitude, solution. And there's nothing wrong with it. Just they treat it like hardcore direct response, like the old, you know, Gary Halbert days of like, you have to basically like make somebody cry in pain before they buy, because there's this huge threshold to buy of like, you have to go do, you know, go get a check, go like lick it, go write it, and then go walk to the mailbox. You know what I mean? There's a reason why there's direct response and personal brand. They're two very different things. Direct response is about getting them to take action now at whatever cost, even at burning a potential future customer. Branding is about building a long-term relationship. I belong and believe in the in-between of still having direct response, but still having that longer-term branding. And that's the problem with most copywriters. They only are trained in direct response. And so like they punch their email list in the face until all the people who can be bludgeoned to death have booked a call or bought. And there's all these other people who are sitting there who need more of a relationship and are more skeptical. They're not willing to submit to that. And so that's first EQ. Second thing is just consistency and just drive. A lot of copywriters will like how I learned copy, and I don't even recommend this anymore, but how I learned was I would sit there for 2 hours, old school as shit, fucking massive piece of paper, and I would handwrite sales letters for an hour or two a day.
Why would you not recommend that anymore?
I think there's better ways to do it, because back in those days, you were able to write, back in those days, the words you used mattered more than they do now.
Just because the attention span.
So the attention span, yes. And back then people were like less skeptical, and like it was more about you have to make all these outrageous claims versus now it's more about the relationship you have with your consumer. It's more about general consumer psychology of like understanding the person. And it's more about, like I said, like the relationship. And it's also about making better offers and like understanding the whole context of the business rather than just what words you write. And so that was the big thing. Is like, you know, I can write the best words, but if the product is shit, if the angle that we're going with is shit, then it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like if it's the wrong message to the wrong market, then like the words don't matter. Within the wrong message doesn't matter. So that's the point, is like most copywriters, and like, again, as one myself, right, for over almost a decade at this point, like they've all been taught to only write words. And that's why there's a lot of them are struggling, because they only know how to write words. They don't know how to create marketing campaigns, how to create offers, how to think for themselves, how to, you know, be an asset to their business instead of an order taker. Like, you know, most copywriters just go to their client. Hey client, what copy do you need today? Oh, and 3 emails. Okay. There you go.
So there's no, it's very commoditized. Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. And so that's why like people were so scared about AI replacing them, because all they can do is write words.
So this makes it clear that there's a really big shift in the importance of personal branding, like more than ever, which means can't sleep on organic. What are your thoughts on someone thinking like, oh, should I go organic? Should I go paid? What's the ratio? If I want to do both, what would be your ratio? Let's say you want to push your recruitment. I'm getting a bit sick, by the way.
That's all right. It's all right.
Getting pretty cold here. So let's say you want to push your personal brand, your recruitment. It seems like you're the face of your recruitment business. How do you share the attention? How do you push the attention seeking with organic and paid? Like how much of each would you do? Or what are you doing at the moment? Whatever you can share.
Great question. So the number one thing I always recommend is to validate with organic. A lot of people say to jump into cold ads. I see where they're coming from, because you want your offer to work to cold traffic. It just, I don't know, man. Like it doesn't feel right to me. I've always been a person that likes to validate my offers by having interest from the market. So how I knew that my offer for recruitment was good was I would post about, hey, you know, one of our copywriters just made this one client $97,000 in cash collected with email alone, you know, for the month. And then people will reach out and say, hey, Ed, can I get one of your copywriters? Like, how do I get one of these guys? And I'll get 2 to 5 DMs a week from people who want a copywriter. And to me, I'm like, okay, that validates the offer completely. The thing is, with an offer like getting a copywriter, straight up, it is not as sexy as, hey, get a sales rep, right? Because you see, I mean, you see in our industry, hey, we recruit we recruit sales reps, we place sales reps and setters, right? Everyone's doing that.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, I know that I'm before the times for placing copywriters because, like, remember opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, hire a high ticket closer, then hire a setter, and before all that, hire a media buyer. What's next?
Copywriter.
That's what I'm here for. So I know that I'm probably like 1, 2, 3 years out from the market catching on, and I'm cool with that. I'm sitting pretty. I'm here. I'm first. If I was doing paid ads, I wouldn't. If I did paid ads this offer, and I'll tell you, I tried paid ads, fucking bombed.
For the recruitment.
Yeah, for copywriters, because as a whole, people. Let's put it this way: even if something was free, if you don't want it, you don't want it. You're not going to have it, right? And so it's like you really have to educate and really try and arm twist the market to get a copywriter right now, because they just aren't aware of it, or they're like, yeah, but whatever, right? Versus, hey, sales rep, like, I'm in deep pain, because I'm on sales calls 20 hours a week and I hate it. Okay, let me find a sales rep. You see how it's a much more clearly appealing offer. So I
feel like it's a appealing offer for the short term thinking, but long term thinking, it makes sense actually to have copywriting first because you're building your audience and it's a stronger, longer term audience.
You get it. Exactly. And so that's the thing is, like, I know that I solve a sophisticated problem, not an everybody problem. And so I charge accordingly, and I use organic means to get those clients because I know that, like, it's not going to be a trigger point. Yeah, let me book a call right now from this ad I saw. Because it is not a bleeding neck problem. So if I was to go to paid ads and do this, the market feedback, like all that everyone tells you, is that, oh, Ed, your offer is bad, or it doesn't make sense, or doesn't work, or whatever. But really, it's just a different way of playing the game, because I'm not looking for immediate sales. And this is why I love organic, is because it's Warren Buffett says that, the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. But people forget that organic media, so emails, social media posts, like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, it's compounding interest.
It's compounding attention. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like, dude, like when I post on Facebook, I get a good amount of likes and comments and stuff. And like over time, the relationship compounds. You knew so much about me and you followed me for a year. And like, until you reached out, I didn't really know who you were. Mm-hmm. But like, imagine you were interested in what I had to sell. Like, it's automatically selling for you. It's so easy. It's so simple. So I always recommend organic, dude. That's my shit. Like, and it's not even me like, oh yeah, let me run paid ads and tell you why organic's great. It's like, no, like, this is all I do. Mm-hmm. Like, I have done.
You plan on having both eventually, or
100%. It's completely market dependent too. Again, like for me personally, I know that, the copywriters, like, copywriting is such a niche little pool, right? Running paid ads is going to be expensive. Probably. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna be great because it's not a lot of people. And so Facebook is gonna have to, ding you a lot of money for each person that you bring in the door. Same with like recruitment is like, high ticket. You're competing against the B2B offers and like, hey, I'll, get you 3 to 5 appointments per day type shit. I'm like, well, let's just not do this. Yeah. I would rather do organic social media, be like, speak at other people's masterminds, be exposed to other people's networks for the B2B. For B2C, for copywriters, there are a few things I can do. Mm-hmm. And this is 2024 game plan. One, I have, and this is crazy, I got over 1,000 highly targeted email list leads in a month for $200. That's 30 grand worth of leads if I were to spend ads. Because I have a viral share campaign where copywriters share with their friends to get on my email list and they get a reward for doing it. And I know my audience well enough to know that they hide in all the little crevices of the internet, these random fucking places. Why would I run ads when I can say, hey, tell your copywriter buddy about my email list and I'll give you a gift?
And that's a lot warmer.
It's a warm introduction, warm handshake. And the cool part is I did the numbers, dude. For every one person that joins my email list, they bring along 2 of their friends. I had one copywriter join my email list and she brought on, I shit you not, 147 other copywriters. Why would I do paid ads? So that's just one of the like 4 or 5 different like lead gen methods I have for growing my email list.
How do you monetize the recruitment side of things when you're placing these copywriters?
So we only get paid from the business owner. The copywriter pays us nothing to place them. And so that's why
flat fee or performance. How does it work?
For us, you mean?
Right. Like, let's say I'm looking for a copywriter and you place someone that's really good at video ad copy let's say?
Yeah, so it's flat fee. So you pay us a flat fee. And so because I'm so confident in what we do, like we have never had a chargeback refund from like, oh, like you didn't fulfill. Like it's never happened before. Like we take our payment and we split it into two. Let's say about a third of it is upfront, refundable deposit. If for whatever reason we fuck up, we can't get you the copywriter, we will just refund it. You pay us nothing. And that's just to kickstart the vetting process. Once we place the copywriter in your business and you, David, you go, fuck yeah, this copywriter is great. I'm so confident in them. They match my voice. I like what they're about. I've interviewed them. And you hire them. That's when you pay us the last amount. That's it.
Okay.
Straightforward. So you pay us.
Willing to, yeah. So you're giving these copywriters jobs on a silver platter, literally, but they just have to show their skill.
They do. Yeah.
And where do you vet them? It's through organic and they start applying and that's how it grows.
So we have them submit an application. So we have like a Google form that they fill in, and then it creates a database inside of our backend that shows us they apply with their name, their interests, why they're interested in the position, what skills they have, what experience they have, and why they want to work for this gig specifically. And then we also have them submit their portfolio, which is like their overall what they've written forever. And then also their top 3 most relevant samples. So things that will be closest to what they're applying for. And then, like I mentioned earlier, their custom sample. So their email they wrote specifically to apply, and their Loom video breaking it down. And then we have a board, we sift and sort through and we pick the top few, interview those, and then hand off the top number 1 to the client to interview. And 90% of the time, the client hires the first copywriter to be fine for them because they're just fucking good.
And that's with a team of, you said 2, you and another person. That's it?
3. Well, this is all me doing it manually. This is all me doing it. Okay. Like I don't need like the team is all for monetizing the copywriters. B2B side is all me. Like I don't have a team for a B2B.
Nice. Shit. It's super lean startup, but good ROI. If someone wants to get more info on where to go for hiring or working with your recruitment agency, they just send you a message on Facebook. How does it work?
Yeah. Shoot me a friend request on Facebook and DM me and let me know you're interested, and I'll shoot you the details. It's that simple.
I've asked you a lot of questions around your agency, copywriting, all that stuff. Let's chill on that a little bit and talk to me about your breakdancing a little bit. What moves you working on?
All right. Well, let me see. The biggest move I'm working on right now is still windmill. It was funny, dude, because I was breakdancing back in 2021, I was breakdancing for 6 months with my instructor. So he's actually going to be representing Canada in the 2024 Olympics for breakdance. So I was training with him for 3 to 5 times a week back then. And then I could kind of do windmill, not really. Like I could do it, but not well. And then I took 2 years off, moved to London, England, came back like about six months ago, started back up training again, and my windmills are fucking good, especially compared to how it was when I left, even though I'm like 40 pounds heavier now. Yeah.
Well, yeah. What happened there?
I don't know. I think it's going to sound funny. I think because I'm heavier now, when I do like the windmill, it's almost like my legs have more weight. Like I'm just bigger than I was, like just a lot more muscle. Like, yeah, obviously fat too. But like I put on the extra weight, and I think that allows me to keep more momentum. Because before I was fucking shredded, dude. I was like Bruce Lee level, like it was crazy. Because I was getting like 10, 15,000 steps a day, breakdancing 3 to 5 times a week, and home cooking every single meal.
And that's not the situation at the moment.
Nope.
What's the current situation? Because obviously you got to work to gain 40 pounds, and I can relate because I've gained probably 30, 35 in the last like 2 years. And for me, it's a completely different story, and we can get into it if we have time. But yeah, I want to hear because the road to losing weight takes a while, but to gaining as well. So is it sweets? Is it the whiskey? What is it?
Well, for those 2 years, I was in a relationship. So it's relationship weight.
Okay. Getting complacent, like comfortable, or
yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't breakdancing anymore. I was eating out like almost every meal, the majority of the meals. And also I was in London, England, bro. Like you don't want to go outside there.
Yeah.
You know, like you get fucking stabbed over a can of beans. No thanks. But now like the road back is, I'm not worried about the weight per se, because it's like, it is like, unless I told you, you wouldn't really notice. I just look more filled out and broad. Now it's like, getting 10,000 steps a day. I go for a walk once or twice a day. I break dance once or twice a week.
You lifting at all?
No, zero.
Oh, damn. Because you mentioned muscle, so you're just getting that from the calisthenics that you get through breakdancing or.
Dude, so here's what's interesting, man. I don't know if I'm like some fucking freak with genetics, but like I didn't work out for, at least consistently for 2 years when I was in London. And then I saw some buddies I hadn't seen in 2 years. They're like, holy fuck, dude, you've been hitting the gym? I'm like, no, not at all. This is crazy.
Were you lifting before though?
When I was like 16, 17, I was actually, dude, I remember the pendulum, right? So I was hardcore, super disciplined. I think at peak, I was like 170 pounds, maybe like 165, 160. I was 168 pounds and I could incline 5 reps, 225 pounds.
That's solid.
Like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
But now so I think I carry over the muscle memory from that, but
just a few years, like I would have thought like a few more years than that because it takes a while to build your foundation,
I was just super, super consistent. Dude, at that point in time too, I could do like 5 chin-ups with, I think it was 65 pounds attached to me.
Okay, so honestly, like there's so much that could play into it, like genetics, the quality of your workouts, how obsessed you were, and just seeing how obsessed you were with copywriting. You probably did the same thing with the lifting part and all that stuff. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude.
It's the residual gains.
Yeah. I mean, the body dysmorphia definitely helped, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's actually a big thing that I'm currently working on because I'm 30 now and I've been like either shredded or kind of fluffy, like literally my entire life, like teenage years up to now. So wow. It's like there's a really good foundation. And then there's either a coat of fluff or there's not. And when there isn't, it's like, yeah, you look great, but you feel kind of shit because it's like you got too lean and it looks good at the beach, which I'm in Mexico a lot. So it's like you want to look lean over there. You don't want to look like you have a bunch of flab. So, but then like 2 years ago, that was like my last drop, like last hard cut that I had was for an MMA fight, like just over 2 years ago. And I got like super, super lean. But after that, like usually I'll celebrate and get back into it. But then I just kept celebrating and I'm like, fuck, man, like, why do I put myself through this shit? And now it's like the battle to just being able to maintain like sustainable gains rather than being like too lean or too buff or too big, finding that. And just like a copywriter, just like building a business, just like finding out what your lifestyle design is for you, like what's the right fit. It's like a much more long-term play. So you have to kind of accept that it won't give you like the biggest return right immediately. So it's
that's so true.
Big mental game.
Yeah. And that's one thing I learned too is like, I used to be so married to the outcome that I would like sacrifice anything to get there. But now I'm realizing like I'm learning how to find joy and appreciation in doing the work to get there. And then now
is that what makes you stick around with breakdancing?
I love the progress. I love the enjoyment of it. I love seeing what I'm capable of. And I just love music. And if there's music ever on and I play it all the time, I'm just dancing, just having fun.
What kind of music you into?
Dude, that's a can of fucking worms. 5 times it's so good. There are some people who are like, yeah, I listen to whatever. And then you list a few genres and they're like, no, it's like, so not whatever. Okay, got you. I listen to fucking whatever.
Tell me a few whatevers.
Death metal, Brazilian funk, Christian music, classical music, screamo, EDM.
You've got to have like go-tos depending on what you're doing, like working out, going for a walk.
Okay. Country and K-pop.
K-pop. Damn. Yep. Have you been to Korea?
I have not.
Okay. It looks their food's amazing. We have a lot of Korean restaurants out here in Montreal, and I've been wanting to go there, but there's a lot of places to travel to. So
dude, yeah, man. My favorite dish, bulgogi.
Bulgogi, bibimbap. Bulgogi.
Oh yeah. Dude, tteokbokki is my favorite. It's like the rice cake and like a sweet tomato paste.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, dude.
Do you ever mix like do you drink beer at all?
Oh, I do beer. I do like the soju all the way.
Like the soju mixed with beer.
Oh my God, dude. Actually, I only just learned about that about like 6 months ago. It's crazy good.
Yeah. I think they do that. Like I might be wrong, but I think they do that because the beer is not strong enough. So they'll add soju to it.
Oh, interesting.
And they love drinking with their meals, like Koreans. So
it just tastes great to me. I just like it.
Yeah, and it tastes great, and then you end up feeling great for a while. And then if
Oh,
you don't go
dude.
too hard, you feel okay in the morning. But if you go too crazy, it sneaks in.
Dude, beer and soju, like it really sneaks up on you. For like a non-hard alcohol, it sneaks up on you. Like if you do like a half a bottle of soju and like a, let's say a can of beer, like you're out, bro. Like you're done.
Yeah, you can't
Like
drive
that's
home,
it.
that's for sure.
No,
Yeah.
seriously, like shit starts spinning. Like whoa.
Yeah. K-pop. You mentioned country too. Tell me about your travel plans for the next year if you have any. It's just
None.
we talked about Korea, so
I have zero travel plans, my friend.
not planning to, like you like having your routine.
I spent the last like since I moved back from London, I spent the last like really 6 months traveling and speaking on stage. Fucking
Mhm.
sick of it, dude.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I like being home. I like having my own bed. Don't get me wrong. I'm so grateful I spoke on stage. I'm so grateful I made like a lot of connections and friends. But I like getting up and going about my day and doing my thing and not having to think about a 6, 7 hour flight.
Yeah.
Try like travel plans. Like I was planning on going to Japan in April with my best friend. But I think I might just stay home and just work.
Honestly, there's season for it, and you got plenty of time, and the whole
Oh yeah.
stable growth focus, all that. I'm also super into it. Like I started this whole thing with more of a nomadic schedule, and you get burnt out quickly, especially if you want to grow a
Yeah.
business and not just like make 3, 4, 5 grand freelancer kind of thing. Like if you want to grow a big thing and like make an impact and hire other people, all that, then you got to focus a bit. The only thing is in Vancouver, it's not as cold as where I'm at. So
Oh yeah, dude.
I leave every single year and have been for the last 6 years. I only just now got a place like a foot on the ground here to be close to family for half the year, but the other half I'm always gone. So
Oh,
got
you're
to
a
do it.
snowbird.
Yeah, I'm like a young snowbird. Exactly.
Oh, dude. It's gonna carry on the tradition for the rest of your life, huh?
Exactly. You good?
Yeah, awesome, dude.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know if it was freezing for a bit, but I just feel like that was a good way to wrap up with some lifestyle stuff.
Sure, I appreciate that. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a copywriter and you want to see what it could look like to get either trained by me to learn how to write copy for high ticket coaches and make 6 figures, have lifestyle and freedom like I had, or if you're a business owner that wants to hire or wants to even just look at what it could look like to have a copywriter write your emails, write your social media posts, ads, whatever you need, really. Hit me up on Facebook. I'm Edray, ED space REAY, and just shoot me a message and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions you got.